I'm back to do another video. You know what? Before I even start, I'm gonna say I know a lot of you guys follow me on Instagram. I've talked to a lot of you on Facebook, and I'm sure that I have sold some eBay stuff to some viewers. So I had some auctions end a week and a half ago. If you've made a purchase from me, be it on Instagram, Facebook, eBay, whatever the case is, my sincerest apologies for the delay. It is my goal to get everything shipped out tomorrow. If for any reason that doesn't happen, it will be Tuesday at the very latest. And if it is Tuesday, I'm going to be throwing extras in boxes. I probably should do that anyways. So I appreciate your patience. There's no excuse for it, so I'm not going to make one. Just thank you for being patient and understanding. I promise that it'll get out no later than Tuesday. I'm really going to try for tomorrow. All right, now on with the diecast. See if you guys know what kind of car this is. The casting is a Konami. That's probably pretty easy to tell what kind of car this is. Maybe it's a little easier now. I don't know. It's a GT. We know that. Don't know the year, but I think this is a 72. Maybe a 73. If you guessed Toyota Celica, then you guessed correctly. So this video here is going to be premium detailed Toyotas. The Kyosho MR2 Spider and the Konami Celica GT. I'm not a big fan of the MR2 Spider. I didn't like this MR2. The one before this, I thought, was a great looking car. In fact, that car and the Nissan 300Z from, was it like 1990 to 96 are probably like my two favorite JDM cars of the 90s. Although I did like the RX-7 a lot too, but I still think I would rather have a Fair Lady or an MR2. Yeah, the green MR2 is a pretty tough car to find. And any Konamis in general are pretty tough, but I know I say that about all kinds of stuff. I say that about a lot of stuff, but I do have quite a few cars that are pretty tough to find. If you check eBay, a couple people have these up. They're asking like 60 or 70 a piece, but I did see one or two of them for like 30, I think 30 to 40. And I don't know why. If maybe it's just because it's an older release from Kyosho. I can't think of any other reason why it would be so much. Because it's certainly not their nicest. It's not their best work. Okay, this car here. This is a cool little car right here. This is one of 2 or 3 Konamis that I had duplicates of at one time. And I sent one up to Champion DJK, who is probably, you know, they say about Dave Grohl, he's the nicest guy in rock and roll. Champion DJK is the nicest guy in diecast, hands down. That dude is just not what you would expect, you know. I don't know. I've been doing this 4 years. And I'm not going to say collectors are jerks, but everybody is self-serving. There's just so much selfishness in this hobby, and there's a lot of compensation that goes on in this hobby. And he's just so different from most people. So if you guys ever get a chance to deal with him, whether it's a buy or a sell or a trade, you can definitely do it with confidence. He is a stand-up guy. And hopefully he likes his Toyota Corona that I sent him. I'm sure he does, though, because he has a taste for premium detailed stuff, with Auto World being his main squeeze. Anyways, I really like this Toyota Corona. I think it would look really good slammed. It's one nice thing about these Konamis. More suspension than the Tomica Limited Vintage. I mean, you could really go low with that thing. So anyways, nice lensed headlights and taillights. These cars they kind of remind me of a cross between TLV and Kyosho. If you were to put a plastic base on a TLV, that's kind of what Konami reminds me of. But the detail in the TLV is much more refined. I like to use the word refined. When I use the word refined in relation to TLV, what I mean by that is when they take a grill and insert it into the molding, it lines up perfectly. When they take the lens headlights and insert them into the grill, they're set perfectly. Everything is so like streamlined around the car. Whereas with M2, you'll get a crooked lens, or you'll get a crooked bumper, or you'll get a spot of glue. You know, you don't get that kind of stuff with TLV. And so when I say refined detail, that's kind of what I mean by that. But anyways, so the detail with the Konami is probably closer to Kyosho than it is to TLV, which is still really good. Kyosho does a great job. It's just not quite as good as Tomica. This car, okay, so that was a Toyota Corona. This is a Toyota Carina, and I like this one a little better. Of the import brands, you have 4 major import brands. You have Tomica Limited Vintage, Kyosho, those are the big 2. You have Konami, who only did 1-64 for probably 2 or 3 years, and they didn't make a lot of it, and that's why they are getting harder and harder to find. But the other brand is Aoshima, and of the 4, Aoshima is my least favorite because they do custom cars, and they put these extravagant body kits and ground effects, crazy spoilers, sometimes crazy paint, and I'm just not big on all of that. But on this particular model, they kept it really simple. They slammed it, which is good. That's always a good thing. And then really all they didn't even put a body kit on it or ground effects or anything. Just has a spoiler, and the front spoiler, I don't know if that's called a spoiler or not, but the detail on this Aoshima is awesome. The headlights look killer, the taillights look killer, the stance is great, the proportions of the car and the lines, everything about it is great. The wheels are a little bit weak, but they look okay. From this angle, they actually look really good. But I dig this car. You know, it's a Toyota Carina. It's not You know, the Carina and the Corona were never commercially available here in the U.S. Um, but I think that's a sweet looking little piece of JDM right there. I would totally drive one of those. And I like the simplicity of the car. Aoshima is kind of like Kyosho, metal body, plastic base, rubber tires with tread. But they specialize in 1 to 24 scale model kits. But they do make a pretty good amount of 1 to 64 scale diecast, and they're still doing it. You can buy cases. You can buy a 12 car case of Aoshima for 70 or 80 bucks, I think, when they come out. They do ship from overseas, and you do have a chance of a chase car. They do chase cars. But I'm just not big on the brand because most of the time I don't like the way the cars look with all the customizations. The only two Aoshimas that I've kept in my collection is this Toyota Carina, and I have a Mazda RX-3, which is somewhat similar to this. It's lowered, and it has... that one might have like custom fender flares, but it's real basic compared to a lot of them. Most of them are, I forget what that word is, like Bozaku. I don't know what it is. If you know what it is, comment below. But it's a huge car culture thing in Japan, kind of like lowriders here. And that's what most of the Aoshima cars are. And I'm just not that into it. So anyways, but I do like this casting a lot. It's I've sold or traded a ton of my Aoshimas and my Kyoshos and my Konamis and my TLVs, and this is one of the few that I've kept. So I have no intentions of ever trading or getting rid of this car. That's how much I like it. Another Kyosho Toyota. Actually, before I show this one, I'll show this one. I just showed this in a video recently, and I don't even care. This car, it's pretty much welcome in any of my videos. So if it wants to be in a video, it is more than welcome to do so. One of my all-time favorite castings in this scale. It's a Johnny Lightning Toyota PJ40 Land Cruiser. Some of these Toyotas are vintage, like every one you've seen so far, except the MR2. And a couple of them are not, but I think the Land Cruiser, I think this is the only Toyota tooling that Johnny Lightning has. I don't think they have any others, which is a shame. But you could really say that about any of the domestic brands, because the only other domestic brands that cast Toyotas is Hot Wheels and Matchbox. We'll probably never see it from M2 or Auto World or Greenlight. But at least two of the three went out and got some Nissan licensing. So can't wait to see the Greenlight 510. First of all. Second of all, I do not collect 1 to 24, but I am going to get the 1 to 24 scale Advan from M2. That thing looks sick. Here's a modern. So you can totally see the. This is grandpa. This is grandson. If you cannot see the relationship between these two vehicles, I regret not buying an FJ when I bought my car, my truck. I really do. My next car is going to be an FJ. Mark my words, in 20 years, you're not going to be able to buy one of those for under 20 grand. kind of like these ones now. You might be able to find a shell of one of these for 10, but you won't find one running in really good condition or restored condition for, maybe you could for 20, I don't know. But they're highly sought after, and I think it's going to be the same thing with this, because for the time, okay, these came out in what, like 06, 07? They stopped making them in 14 or 15. So they didn't make them, I don't even think they made them a full decade. And but for the time, it's such a unique vehicle. There's nothing else that looks like this. And you know, as a kid growing up, my dad used to tell me, you know, cars today are junk. They don't have any character. They all look the same. And he's true. I mean, that's true. If you look back at when he grew up, when our parents grew up, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, cars back then had a lot of character. And this car has a lot of character. And if you have 2 kids, I sold Toyotas. So it may look like a 2-door that would be a pain in the ass to get kids in and out of. But there is a back door there, which is a suicide door, but it gives you plenty of room to get your kids in. So it's still a great family vehicle if you only have 2 kids. And there's a ton of cargo room in the back. The only complaint that I heard about these, and I heard it all the time, is that, let me get my pointer. Right here, this panel creates a massive blind spot, and it drives the driver's nuts. Especially if you're 4-wheeling and you're in, you know, if you're in one of those like sketchy situations, it's just bad to have a blind spot. But I really think my next car is going to be one of these, mainly because I can't afford a Land Cruiser, and it's easier to find than a Land Cruiser. So that's all. Well, got one more. Last car. I'll bring this one back out because this is a Toyota Celica GT. And this is from, I think this is about 5 years newer, maybe 6. Is a Toyota Celica GT. Personally, okay, in 1 to 64 scale, I like the silver. But I think in full scale, I think I would like the red one. But this car here, I think this is the nicest casting that Konami put out. From a detail standpoint, it looks so much like a Tomica Limited Vintage. The prototypical wheels on this thing are stellar. They are just so nice. Really clear glass. Really nice lines. All the lines are real tight. All the joints, no gapping. Nothing's crooked. Really nice paint job. That is something that Konami did struggle with sometimes, was paint. And this car, much like a TLV, I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but it has a wood steering wheel. Now, it's not actually wood, but it's a replicated wood. But check out the interior detail, the seat, the stitch patterns on the seat. I mean, the interior on these Konamis, at least on this one, it's as nice of an interior as I've seen on a 1 to 64 scale car. Auto World makes amazingly nice interiors. The problem with all the domestic brands is that they're always black, so you can't ever tell. But now we're starting to see lighter colored interiors from Auto World and Greenlight. And so when you get those cars, those castings that have the lighter color interior, it makes that interior detail pop. But anyway, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to look at some detailed Toyotas because I have not done that in a while. And there were some that didn't make it into the video, like my Kyosho Land Cruiser didn't make it. And the TLV Toyota Century didn't make it because I just did that last night. That's another beautiful car, though. But I think those are the only two that didn't make it into the video. So, there you go. Comment below which one is your favorite. And you all have a great weekend. Happy hunting. I guarantee you, you will not find me at a retail store tomorrow. Take that to the bank. I'm going to get up, I'm going to eat breakfast, and I'm going to pack a bunch of boxes. And then I'm going to get something to eat. I already said that. But I probably will get something to eat right after I do that. And then I'm going to go ship everything. So if I don't talk to you before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Don't be offended when people tell you Merry Christmas if you don't celebrate Christmas. And you all be safe. I will holler at you very soon. Before I wrap this up, my kid is due Wednesday. He could come anytime. When he comes, there's a good chance I may be away for a couple of weeks. But I'm waiting on a package, and when it shows up, I will stop whatever it is I'm doing, and I will find time to make a video. But outside of that video, it could be a week or two. Unless I find something really cool out in the wild, which is probably not too likely to happen. So, anyways, thank you. Merry Christmas. Thank you for supporting the channel. We're almost to 3,000 subscribers, which is awesome. I never thought it would have got to that point. When I got to 500, that was good. I was good. That's all I really thought that I could do, and I was totally happy with it. So to get where I'm at is, especially with, the lack of production quality, I think the content has been okay, or pretty good. In some cases, really good. But the production quality, not great. And I'm not the best articulator. So thank you so much for all the support, everybody. It's been a good year, but I will for sure talk to you before the year's over, so we won't get into the Happy New Year stuff yet. But have a good Christmas, and I'll holler at you later on.